Okay. Good morning. It is just past 9 o'clock in the AM on Tuesday, June 9th, 2020. In the latter part of the lunar cycle, the flower moon, which is our first summer lunar cycle. And getting my day rolling a little bit late, slept in. I've been really tired the last few rounds. I don't know what it is, but I've put in a lot of hours under covers with my eyes closed, snoozing. And I don't know, it might have had something to do with the weather. It's been pretty rainy, overcast, but I was also just kind of feeling dark about a couple of things, and I'll talk about that a little bit today as we go through our round. But any case, starting off as usual with some small mammal work. I know I have a couple of skunks in traps that I've been notified for, and we have a raccoon trap to check, and who knows what else. But I'll give you a little update on what's new, and yeah, we'll go through the round and see what it holds. It should be warm today, so there could be snakes, could be anything. But I'll tell you what there has been the last few rounds, and that has mostly been babies, baby skunks, baby birds, fledglings. It's that time of year, and that's part of what's brought about the darker feelings, I think, that I've been experiencing. A little bit of I don't know, it's not really depression or anything, but it's just like, hey, morning.
What happened to you?
Oh, I ripped a couple muscles in my calf. So you guys caught another one.
Yeah, you bet.
Big one?
He's the little guy.
Oh, maybe you got babies under there. Let's check her out.
I don't really know how to tell the age by the size of it. It's about half the size of his head.
Oh yeah. Let's see. Oh yeah, you were just born this year, huh? Little stinker. He's fair sized though already. I'm gonna put another trap here. You probably do have more. I'm betting you got a little pocket of them here. Let's put this guy in the truck and we'll get another trap over here. Yeah, it's all these little guys that are got me bummed. Here to pick up skunk number 2. Set another trap. It's gonna be a baby as well, I believe. And they're supposed to let me into the backyard. Hello.
My mom's just at work, so I had to.
Oh, that's cool. Ah, yes. Another little guy. This one I might just transfer and leave the big trap here in case I can get his mom. table. Sig. Let's catch some more. Hey, little guy. Yeah, so here is the primary dilemma of the day. What do I do with these little guys when I can't match them up with mamas, or when I do match them up with mamas and their mamas split on them at the drop-off site? This is the big issue. Little cutie patootie. Good luck, little guy. Yeah, here's the crux to the issue with these baby skunks. Like I was saying, what if I can't match them up with moms, you know? Which I've been having difficulty with, other than that first group that I matched up with a mom, and the mom appeared to really just take her one genetic baby and split, leaving the others. I haven't been able to match up moms with these guys since, and I've been leaving babies at sites like this log jam here at the different parks where I feel like they got some shelter at least, and those that are kind of able-bodied and doing all right, have matured a little bit more maybe than others, are wandering off, like this guy over here is wandering today. Where'd you go? It's in here in this area somewhere, but wander around exploring. Then you got little guys like this one over here who just is not doing it, you know. And what I've found is that returning to these sites after 1, 2, 3 nights, I'm finding some of the babies still there, as though I just dropped them off, but every day growing weaker. At one of the sites, a baby died already, and probably if I went around and checked, I would find more dead babies, but I'm not going to do that. It's just, like I say, it gets kind of dark and grim. My whole purpose for doing this service is to give these animals at least some kind of fighting chance that they're not going to get if the people hire, you know, just a regular quote-unquote pest control exterminator type guy. So I want to give these animals a fighting chance, but legally I cannot retain them. I cannot retain babies and wait for their mothers. I do for short periods, 1-2 days sometimes. In the case of like today, one of these guys, the bigger one that's ambling around, I already got his mother a few days back, so I'm not going to catch her, and his chances of connecting with her are probably pretty nil. And the chances of another mother taking a baby that's that developed is probably just about done nursing completely, if not already, is pretty nil. So, you know, I gotta set him out in places like this and tell him good luck, even though I know some of them won't make it. The one that died the other day at one of the sites, I was with the kids, and I picked it up, put it in a bag, and brought it into the truck. And right away, Reed, the 3-year-old, was asking, you know, how come you killed a skunk? And I told him I didn't kill it, which isn't exactly true. You know, in the wider picture of things, I did. But I told him that, you know, he can't survive without his mom, which is also part of the truth of the story. And then Will was very concerned, you know, what are you going to do with it? Will's our older boy. I told him, well, might as well try to do something with him. He's already dead. I'll probably take his skin off, see what I can do with that. And then you see Cody, our girl, her wheels are turning. Not so concerned about the dead skunk. You know, as soon as I mentioned the skin, Cody's like, yeah, skinning it sounds good because my doll needs a new jacket. So, different agendas, but man, for me, it's depressing when I have to let go a little skunk like that one back there, who I know is just not gonna survive. He's not gonna make it. But I can't, you know, can't hang on to them either. I don't know. I need to do a better job preparing for the season, locating nests on properties where they're welcomed and where maybe the people would also welcome orphan kits, you know, 1 or 2 additions to the families they already got under their shed or sidewalk or what have you. Don't know how well you're going to be able to hear this with the wind, so let's move out of here. Might check a couple more traps and then go for a walk at the pond.
Hello?
Hello. Hey,
Hi.
this is Ryan, First Diver. You had phoned me regarding a situation with some birds.
I did. I don't even know if you're the right person to call. Fish and Wildlife just gave me your name. I have some birds in my, we figured out it's the bathroom vent that goes outside.
Mm-hmm.
And, I don't want to hurt them. Everyone's like, well, you got to get rid of them. And I'm like, yeah, but can I just wait till they fly away and then get the nest out? But I don't know what the proper way to do this is.
Yeah, that would be the best for the birds. The most ethical is just to wait for the hatchlings to fledge, which, depending on the species, I'm imagining you either have starlings or house sparrows in there.
The mama bird is sitting on the fence, about 2 feet away from it, or maybe 3 feet.
Okay.
Or 4 feet, I don't know. And she's beautiful. She's absolutely, and she's tiny.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Is it okay to just leave them until they fly away and then try to get the nest out and put a screen on it? Or?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Yeah, and those little birds like that, they don't take too long to fledge out of nests either, you know.
No, and they're very noisy right now. It's been a couple weeks, but they're extremely noisy right now, so I'm sure they're getting quite big.
Yeah. Yeah. So you won't have long to wait. You probably won't even have another week to wait, and they'll be out of there. And then yeah, definitely remove the nest and put some screen over that, you know.
Do you have any idea how to remove that nest?
Well, if you can, just reach in and pull it. If it's
Dear Lord, I ain't put my hand in there.
Well, when it comes to that, if you want to hire me, I'll come pull them out for $20 or whatever. But if it's accessible, but yeah, it's just you just pull it out. And
did you just tell me $20?
Yeah, if it's accessible, if it's just a matter of me coming over there, reaching in and pulling the stuff out.
I will gladly give you $20 to come over and put your hand in there, but I'm not.
Yeah, I'll do that. Give me a call when those babies are out, and I'll come.
Okay,
I'll get rid of that stuff for you. You bet.
Okay.
All right, we'll see you.
Thank you so much.
You bet.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Very good. Yeah, that's the other issue. The fledgling birds. I have a broken magpie at my house right now. I'm going to get lots more. Broken magpies and broken crows and broken blue jays and the ones that go on the roads, you know. But right now that wave hasn't started yet, really. I mean, other than I do have one broken bird in my house so far. I think that's actually a young adult magpie that I have. I've had it 2 nights now, and I haven't really thoroughly checked it. I've just let it kind of get settled in. It's staying in Derek's apartment. Maybe we'll look at it a bit more this afternoon. I have to kind of clean it up and probably wrap its wing. But yeah, the calls that I've been getting are all fledglings that are they're either not out of nests yet and the nests are in jeopardy because people are impatient to do something, or they've discovered them, they want them out of there. Or, the parents are being defensive and swooping people that come near the nest, and so they want something done with that. In all those cases, I try to give people just to relax, give the birds a week or two, and they will be on their way by themselves, and we don't have to separate bird families and do all this craziness. But yeah, that's the thing now, is the fledglings. Lots of calls of fledglings. Lots of people rescuing birds that don't need to be rescued, just because they see a flightless bird. A lot of fledglings are as large as if not larger than their parents, because their first set of feathers that grows in is a large set, and it makes them look even bigger than adult birds. But they might not be able to fly yet, and so people pick them up and call me for injured birds. And I tell them, go put that bird back where you got it. Any case, though, the days of injured birds is coming up soon. The wave of injured fledglings, and again, it's going to be the kind of situation where I can't help them all. Not to my best effort, right? I might pick one or two out of the season to really sink my efforts into and really help and make sure that they make it through this thing with the very best possibilities, but as I might do with the one that's already at the house, But for the majority of these guys, I'm just going to have to give them, what I can, basic help, basic assistance, and let them out in the world, and, they'll definitely survive longer with encounter with me, but not necessarily will they live out a full life. Anyhow, let's go take a walk at Sspopiikimi and see what's new out here. Just out here at North Pond, where I've been watching a female redwing gathering materials for her nest. I think she's just down here somewheres, looking for nest materials now. She's pulling kind of wet reeds and other things like that. Oh, we're gonna lose sight of her here. I think she's a little bit concerned about me now that I've got a phone out. Before I was just watching. Anyway, she has a basket nest started. Actually, it looks like it's quite a ways built already, probably, from what I can see from here. In the middle of these bulrushes, and she's going to continue working on this probably for the duration of the day, getting ready to lay eggs. So we will have a nest here to monitor as the season goes on, and it's in a precarious place. Like, the slope of the bank here is quite steep. Otherwise, I would have shown you a closer look myself, of course, I'm still in my air boot. But, yeah, the chances are she's not going to get any nest predators, so we're going to be able to see a whole season of her nesting here. She's just gone to the ground. Maybe we'll watch her bring some nest material in a moment. The yellow flowers that you're seeing here, by the way, are flicksweed up high here, and then down here, these kind of more greenish yellow are leafy spurge. Flicksweed is a kind of a mustard. Leafy spurge is a kind of a spurge. yeah, she literally weaves this kind of hanging basket over the water in the reeds with dead, you know, dead but in decent condition reeds from the previous year. I don't think we're gonna get to see her. It's got turtles basking, of course, as the Sspopiikimi name means, signifies. And then we've got, check this out, these little blue flowers, these 5-petal blues. I don't know what these are. I talked about that in one of my last videos out here. Nice day. Yeah, out here at the dock, there are nests being built even closer and more observable. For instance, the one that she flew out of right here. Now, as it turns out, Redwing blackbirds are not just monogamous breeders like some bird species. Here's the male. But this guy might have 2 or 3 wives, hence the multiple voices here. We got this bird here, we got one that's just back in there, there's another one, so he might even have 3 wives, all of them concerned about this nest, which is being built just awesome, barely, you know, there's just a little opening for entry and exit, and it's above the water, very clear of predators but not clear of people. They're gonna have a kind of an awful time dealing with the human visitors, I think. Or the people are gonna be like, let's get rid of that nest, they're swooping us. Hey, you're in a nature park now. There's another nest right in here. I don't know if you can see it there, center screen, on the side with the turtle basking area. I have my eyes on these little pieces of driftwood and stuff that are around here, because we are coming into the season where the giant water bugs will lay their eggs on those floaty pieces. And if we can find one of those, we can usually find mama too, attached to the bottom, ready to defend her eggs. It's the turtles. More turtles. And people probably waiting to come out here. That's the other part I want to talk about. The situation with the COVID. Oh geez, this female here is just beautiful. Just a beautiful bird. When you see her in the light, she's got so much color in her. The wet meadows are nice and flooded. I'm sure the ducks are loving that. Unless any of them were nested out there, but most of the mallards and teals play it safe and pull back. And the only other ones there might be out there right now is the redhead. I know there's 2 redhead drakes sticking around, And there was a redhead couple here earlier, so she could have a nest somewhere in the reeds, but she'd already make that kind of a flotilla nest anyway, so she could bring it up and down with the rise in the water. Yeah, it's just nice and flooded. So gonna get a ton of mint this year, I'm sure. Oh, I can see the geese way back there. You're not gonna be able to see them with this camera at all. I gotta squint myself. But the super family's out there on the wet meadows, feeding as I predicted they would this year, with that kind of visibility that the fire brought them. We'll take the path that goes down here along the skirts, along the edge zone between the forest main and the wet meadows, and we'll talk about the other thing that, you know, brings a bit of darkness to the days, a bit of it more anxiety and this kind of a thing, and that's COVID. The COVID-19 context. The COVID is not over, and in fact, toward the end of the week, last week, I think Friday, Saturday, started coming back with several positive cases of COVID among one of the members of one of the socio-religious societies on the Blood Reserve. Very prominent. Well, just say the Horn Society. Several Horn Society members came up positive, and you know, so now lots of people that they are connected to, including many of their other Horns members, need to get tested. So Chelsea's mom and dad got tested couple of days ago, and the results are back. They're both negative for COVID, as is her sister, Chelsea's sister, and her kids. You know, but there are close people that are fairly close to us who are positive for it, and in fact, one of Mahoney's uncles passed away. I think yesterday or the evening before, from COVID complications. And this is a man who a few years back went to climb Chief Mountain with me, you know, 6 months after having knee replacements. He was going to climb the mountain, and he did. He didn't get all the way to the top, but he got a fair distance. He did all that his body allowed, and it took quite a ordeal to get him back down the mountain and get him home, because he played himself out trying to get to the top. He's a strong guy. Spent a lot of years, well, some years anyway, kind of riding around box cars and doing agricultural work on the West Coast and that kind of thing. Came back, settled down with one of Mahoney's aunties, and so yeah, he passed. He died yesterday, the day before, from the COVID. And now all these people are getting tested. This afternoon, Chelsea's getting tested, but given that her mom and dad and sister and nephew are negative, chances are Chelsea will be negative too, and we got nothing to worry about. But it's, you know, it's still here, and people are becoming more and more relaxed regardless, and people are still dying from it. You know, it's not like I mean, I'm sure there's for a lot of people who have isolated lives in general, they're not feeling the effects because none of their buddies are dying, none of their family are dying, maybe, who knows. But for a lot of people, you know, for me, I consider this person number 2 that I know who's died from COVID this year. And in any case, you know, just the thought of what if I contracted it, you know, because people are just going about still doing their things. Oh my goodness, I should try to show you this, but I'm not going to be able to. They got the goose super family is out here, and I just see tons of little gosling movement. But these are kind of the teenage goslings, eh? They're the browner goslings. I'm frustrated because if we practice the appropriate measures, I mean, we already made the big sacrifice to lock down for a little bit, you know? And at this point, to like, because we didn't feel a strong effect from the COVID, perhaps, to just kind of let up our guard, it seems nonsensical, because the reason we didn't get the strong effect was because of our defense, right? And so if we just let go, then we're going to see a resurgence. It just makes, like, it's common sense. And why, I don't know. It's part of me also feels like, yeah, it's fucking, give me the COVID. Let me go through it. So I'll have gone through it, survived it, be done with it. But, you know, older people and people with any kind of health issues, especially lung issues, you know, don't fare well with this thing. And I got asthma. It's gonna be dangerous for me. But I don't know what's the right move. I just feel like you know, the COVID's just out there, and if we want to really nip it in the bud, then we have to just set up protocols, get serious about you know, masking and gloving and washing hands. And even though, like, a lot of people do that, a lot of people don't, you know. That's why it's even still running around close by in such a rural places, the Blood Reserve, Alberta, you know. So I don't know, but yeah, that's been something that's happened the last couple of days, and it's added to the pressure. Not really pressure. What is it that I'm feeling? I can't even express it right. It's not depression. It's not exactly anxiety. It's not pressure, you know. But it was rainy for 2 days, and I felt like the weather. I felt just drizzly and cold, and you know, felt some dread. You know, what if I did get the COVID and then I have to shut down my operations in the middle of when it's most busy with wildlife issues here in Lethbridge? I don't think I'm at high risk or anything, but it's frustrating me that people who I'm, you know, very like closely tied and connected with, don't always engage in safe activities, and it's because of social pressures and these kind of things. And we should be socially pressuring to just like kick this COVID's ass, because it's down. You know, it ran into a pretty strong force field here, you know. But now we're like, oh, it slammed into the force field, didn't do that much damage to us. Let's just take down the force field. How does that make sense? Anyway, duly noted. Let's get on with our tour of the forest and pond. not really noticing too much new that I haven't pointed out in other videos very recently as I walk south along this perimeter. I guess maybe the wild licorice. I don't know if I've pointed that out before, but I mean in the last couple of weeks or so as it's really come into its own here. But that's starting to emerge. On the home front, in terms of other news, it's really not much. It rained the last few days, pretty steady rains, and there were moments in the afternoon of clear weather sometimes, and during that period, my friend Roseanne was bringing her little Chihuahua over, and who's in heat, and Polly was having backyard dates. Yeah, we'll see. Polly might be a father for a third time. See if we can get some little Chihuahua puppies out of this. I don't know. They never did really get stuck where, you know, they couldn't get unbound for a bit. So when they don't get that stuck, I don't know if the deed is actually done or not. The other day, as I walked just up here, I mean, I think I showed you maybe a few weeks ago there was a killdeer during one of my live videos that was acting a little strange up here on the bank, and when was it? Must have been maybe Sunday. Yeah, 2 days ago. I was out here again, and the killdeer was acting strange, but had a partner and little ones as well. So I'll see if they're out here right now. If not, I might still have that old footage that I took that day. I didn't have a good place to put it in another video, so I just kind of left it, but they were just out here in this rocky area, I believe. But even like a couple of days is a lot of growth for some killdeer babies. Family might have taken off by now. All right, not seeing them, so I'll see if I can dig up that old footage. And if I can, you'll see it inserted right here. Some of you may remember that a couple of weeks ago I was up here on this edge of the wide south pool, and I ran across a killdeer who was doing the fake wingy stuff, trying to keep me from her nest. And I believe this is that same killdeer today, but she's not trying to keep me from my nest. She's trying to keep me from finding fledglings, nestlings. And I know this because I saw her moving with one of them just as I was coming up to this spot, and it should actually be right in here somewhere, but they are so camouflaged. It's actually scary for me to move each step, knowing how camouflaged they are, how the babies will sit still, and there's a possibility I'll crush them if I'm not really careful. Now she should have more than one baby. I saw one here with her as I was approaching. We'll see if we can track that little guy down. The thing is, they blend in so much, they really just look like rocks when they're sitting still. And as you can see, they choose a landscape where there are rocks so that you might miss the baby. This display is meant to to draw me away because it's an easy prey item. A bird that's hurt, I should want to eat it. I should want to pursue it. When you have a bird doing this to you, a killdeer, then you know you're very close to her babies. They're right in here somewheres. Where's the baby, Mama? Where's the baby? She is so close to me at this point. Look at this, my feet and Mama bird. So I think her baby's around here very close somewhere. Oh, we got the other parent over this way coming in. Oh, we got a chick. Look at that chick. Right on the edge there. Right on the edge there. But I think there's also a chick right here. This is why Mama is flipping out. In fact, I know there's a chick right here somewhere because I saw it with my own eyes. Just that same way as this other one a moment ago. Gotta move careful. Gotta move careful. Don't want to hurt the babies. Yeah, both the parents are down here acting broken to lead me away. Well, they've got probably a small slew of babies just hiding right off in here. I was hoping to give you a close-up look. What happens if I go back this way, Mama? What happens if I walk back this way? I'm not supposed to go this way? Crazy. Oh well, I should quit torturing them and leave them alone. But they're, you know, I want to show you the miracle of camouflage that is a killdeer baby at the same time. Because they're in here. They're just so still. And they blend in. Perhaps we won't get a chance. Should find them here in our future visits though. Next week or two anyway. In other news, last two bits I thought of. On the beaver front, I have still not caught any beaver, and in fact I removed my trap, and that coincided both with the onset of the big rain that we've had for a few days, and with a third tripping of the trap that did not fully release the mechanism so that it shut on itself. In other words, the cage didn't close, the clamshell didn't close, because the little trigger where the beaver stands, even though he pushed the pad completely off of the, you know, the setting post, he pushed the pan off the post, that post became an obstacle to the to the rod that had to turn underneath it in order to release the trap. So that's the third time that's happened, which meant there's beavers there in my trap doing exactly what they need to do to be caught, and weren't caught because of this fault. So what I'm planning to do is, I believe even tonight, I'm gonna go set up my other trap, because I bought two originally. I'm gonna try the other trap, see if it functions properly, and if so, I'm gonna compare the two and try to see if I can figure out what's the difference. If I can rig something to make the one that I have that's not functioning function right, I'll do so. Or maybe it's something that the beaver's doing with his foot. You know, I don't know, but the thing is not triggering all the way, and it's because that post. So I'm gonna try my other trap, see how that goes. On the snake front, and before I get to that, I guess I'll show you. We got what is this called? Dame's Rocket. It's purple flower in here. Yeah, nice purple flowers. Dame's Rocket, and I don't know any traditional uses or anything for it, but I don't even know what its Blackfoot name was. So on the snake front, not much has happened because we've had cold weather, but just before we went into that cold weather, I got a call, where was it? In the canyons, at Canyon View Place. There was a residence there where in the backyard she had just a young of the year, they call it, which means it was born at the end of last summer. At that point you call it a neonate, a newborn, but as you go into the next summer, and it's, even though it's not a year old yet, you call it the young of the year. I don't know. That's the technical jargon. I call it a neonate. So she had a neonate in her backyard, and I scooped it up, and me and the kids went and dropped it off at the Upper Popson site where I drop lots of snakes. That was the only one though. Cute little guy. It's like just a engine and caboose. There's Mama. She'll beat the crap out of those waxwings. Yeah, just noticing this little magpie fledgling down here. If you remember from last summer, it's very dangerous for magpies to go into, especially the forest this time of year, because all the smaller nesting birds will attack them. Killdeer that just left, and there's yellow-headed blackbird out there at the end of what still counts for the peninsula. Yeah, nice to see magpie fledglings, especially right in this area, as this back in here is where Derek had been born, my pet magpie. So it's probably one of his close relations, this new little guy. He's disappeared into the brush over here. Lots of little bluets along the trail that I've been noticing. I don't know if I'll even be able to show any of them to you. There's one just in here. It'll probably move as I get closer. There's another approaching. See that? Little boreal bluet, damselfly. Hey, she gave us a bit of a show there. Yeah, but lots of those, as well as the emergence of some dragonflies. There's one up ahead. Yeah, the emergence of some of the adult dragonflies. This one, whoop, she just darted. Oh, Sspopiikimi and landed. I forget the name of this one. I remember it being cherry something. Off she goes. Oh, she's still hanging around. Maybe she'll land again. She's checking me out while I'm checking her out. There she's landing. See if she'll let us get a close-up. Do you trust me? No. Cherry-faced skimmer, maybe? Ah, she won't let me get close. Anyway, there's her, and there's some of the big blue darners out over the water. If I see one of those, I'll show you if he lets me get anywhere close. But those are our largest dragonfly species, those blue darners. Not seeing any pale snakeskin dragonflies yet. It's another of the species that we have here, fairly commonly in the summer, but we summer up. And check out this merganser couple sitting here by the Beaver Lodge. Meet Sspopiikimi. Got a rattlesnake call for Uleth, 6th floor patio region again. So I'm hobbling my way out of here and we'll go take that call. Yeah, kind of windy today. Uleth security phoned me just before I got on campus. Let me know that the snake went down a hole. So they'll phone me back if it surfaces again. There's nobody on campus though, other than some essential people, you know. So I don't know. I thought I'd come out here and maybe kind of look at what the progress of the black widows are along the coulee rim here, but it's pretty windy. I think I'm just gonna slide back home. I have one more skunk trap to set, which I can do when I go out to set the beaver trap later this evening, I think. See if we get any other calls. Maybe I'll just go home and start working on this video, splicing things together and see where it's at.